All right, good morning. Welcome to Win the Date live cast. Let me get Julie involved. Hey, Julie.
Morning.
Where we talk about how to win the day as a real estate salesperson. Probably anybody. We have Julie Morris in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you've ever heard of that, it's in Phoenix. We have Destiny Powell right here in Navarre today. We're going to talk about some stuff. Here's what I want to talk about. You ever go to Disneyland or World and wait in line forever? You just wish you had a fast pass, just get to the fun, just go, right? You don't have to wait in line all hot and sweaty and with all those people. Like anything, right? You just pass all the hard stuff, just quickly get there. I often find myself exploring our business, how to get more sales faster, easier, remove the grind and go right to the closing where you get the check and yeah, look at me, right? And most of the time it is fantasy, right? But here's the thing. I always come back to, grind, lead gen, grind, lead gen, grind, lead gen, right? Because that's what works. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't take some time to try things, right? To try new things, to test them out. Maybe they work, maybe they don't. Maybe you find out that the old guard is still the new guard and all that. So I would encourage you to try new things all the time, right? But always have a process that works, all right? Have something is going to work. You hate it. It's slow. It's a grind. It's boring. It's repeat. It's all that stuff, but it works, right? Grass might be greener on the other side, or it might not be. But always have something that's good, right? And then whatever form, that's going to be lead gen because we're in sales, right? And whatever form that takes on, it's also called database management, all right? Ultimately, in the end, what this comes down to is you have a target, a database, an area, something that you want to just dominate, right? That's your go-to, that supplies most of your business. Okay. You got to spend your time there. You got to love up on those people. Just kiss them, hug them, hold them, make sure they don't go anywhere else. Now, always underline, underscore everything. Always go for the referral, right? That's going to take you off to who knows where. Always go for the referral, the easy work. Always chase after that expired because that's a right now business. Always do that. But always go right back to your go-to, your database, your neighborhoods where you want to go or where you want to operate, all right? And then whatever your form of lead gen is, whether it's outbound calls, door knocking, open house, billboards, maybe you're a billboard guy or gal, I don't know, whatever it is, okay? You just grind on that. I know you don't want to hear that. Get back in line, move 1 inch every, 20 minutes, and eventually you get to the ride. But the fact is, eventually you get to the ride if you stay in that line. And that is really the important thing. So whatever your lead gen is, and mine is calling folks on the telephone generally, okay? And I've got that down. I call my database all the time. When it's rolling, who's in your database. Because here's what happens. People move, right? One of your best people might move. Now they're no longer in your database for that neighborhood. Somebody else is. You better stay on top of that. You're going to run into somebody that's not going to give you business. They just got their real estate license. Yay, I just got my license. Oh, awesome. Good for you. Right? Or I just got married to somebody who has a license. Or my daughter, my cousin, my friend, whatever, got their license. You're not going to get their work. All right. So it's like pruning a bush or a roses or whatever. You always got to be in your database, pruning, getting rid of the ones that you'll never get their business and replacing them with those that you have a shot and just love them. Okay. The way I do it is I just call them up with news. Hey, it's John Moran, Keller Williams Realty. He's at the beach team in Destin. How are you? Good. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, did you see that so-and-so just listed their house? All right. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,100 square feet. It's on the market for $730,000. Curious, who do you know would like to own in the neighborhood? Boom. We're talking to them. Hey, how long have you owned yours? Oh, awesome. Are you and Bill still planning on this? Nice. So if you do that, are you going to sell? Yes. When's that going to be? Oh, okay. See how this works? over and over and over, always, 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 right? That's my go-to. That's my go-to. I've taken that database, that neighborhood, that everything, I've made it a machine that's steady, it's reliable, it's built to last. Now, every now and then I want to run off and try building my brand or doing some social media stuff or whatever. But then I run right back and I get back in line and move 1 inch every 20 minutes until I get a closing, because I know at some point I'm going to get a closing if I do that. All right? Test. But whatever you do, maintain that glorious machine, because it will pay you over and over and over again. You will build your career on that. Okay? Julie, I'm going to go to you first. You do a lot of open houses, but I think you do the same process. Is that fair to say? Over and over and over?
My success is not built on open houses. That is a more recent thing.
Okay.
My success is doing business by referral. But the reason why I'm a big fan of open houses is because if you're new to the business, which most people are because we have 85% turnover every 5 years, you need to figure out how to generate leads fast and generally on a low budget. And it is my opinion that open houses is the fastest way to generate leads fast on a budget. You're not paying for a subscription for circle dialing, which you can get for free from a title company. You're not paying for leads through Zillow. You're not doing all of the advertising is expensive. Social media requires skill and time, and you're spending more time on social media than you are on getting better as a realtor. So the reason
and it puts you in the marketplace.
There's a lot of ways. Here's the thing, to your point, there's a lot of ways to generate business. And also to your point is, it can be boring waiting in line for it to work out. So don't be a flash in the pan and I'm going to try this for 10 minutes and that for 10. On Mondays, I'm doing this. On Tuesdays, I'm doing that one. No, you will not succeed. It'll take you 3 to 4 to 5 times longer if you're trying to do 10 things at once and not committed to any of them. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Figure out a process and stick with it, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you hate making cold calls, if you hate circle dialing, if you hate that, okay, then find something else that works. But you've got to choose something that works. And this is why I come back to, especially for new agents, but not just for new agents. It works for everybody, is open houses, because the cost, the barrier of entry is to spend money on, you can buy 2, 3, 4, 5 signs that have your phone number and your logo on them and use a bunch of them that just have your company name. I don't recommend it because you're not advertising yourself, you're advertising your company. But if that's what your budget allows, rather than a bunch of advertising, marketing, mailings, billboards, but benches at bus stops, those are all expensive and they don't work that well, and they're passive. They're passive.
Hey, tell me about referrals too, right? That's the same thing. They're not expensive, are they?
So referrals, no, because you start with your phone and you just start dialing everybody you know in your phone, and then you go to your social media and you just start interacting with everybody on social media, and you just start putting everyone into your database and you categorize them. There's 2 types of categories that I use. One is the speed, and the speed is the temperature. So how quickly are they going to buy or sell? That's the temp. They're a fire, hot, warm, or they're a future, right?
So this is a process you've developed.
Yeah. So for me, fire, hot, warm is that's where you spend your time and attention for right now. Like if someone says, I'm going to buy a house within the next fill in the blank, and it's a time frame that is designated, those are the people you chase down, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. If they say, I'm going to sell within the next, you're going to be following up with them the most. But everybody, here's the thing, we know. What do we need to live? Air, number 1. You don't breathe for a couple of minutes, you're dead. Water, you can go a few days. Shelter. Shelter comes ahead of food, okay? You need shelter before you need food in an environment where you can die. So everybody is going to buy or sell sooner or later. Everybody. So that's why I do business by referral. So that's why I stay in touch with everybody.
Let me ask you though, Julie, you do business by referral, you do open houses, both super awesome, but you're not winging it. Is that fair to say? You're doing them the same way over and over and over?
Yes, and you have to stay committed. So that's why I say there's a million ways to be successful. You'll hear about people that I did it this way, and everyone's like, I want to do it that way. That looks easy. And it's not easy for you. Okay. It's easy for that person.
Right.
You have to figure out what you are comfortable doing, what you like to do. I know people that all they do is they have events every single month. All they do is they have, and it starts small and it just gets bigger, and it might be a few people, whether it's parties or, beer tasting or wine tasting or whatever, taking people golfing, all they do, but that's expensive.
All right. Let me ask you, Destiny. How about you? Do you have a go-to? What's your go-to? Circle dialing?
Circle dialing and open houses are my go-to.
Okay. Process, no process?
Definitely a process. First, I start with all my database calls. As a newer agent, I can say I made the biggest mistake last year in not managing my database. We're always taught, fill that database up, fill up your pipeline. But if you're not managing it, then it's not worth anything for you, and just sitting down with my database over the past few days, realizing I've got a lot of gold here. I need to manage it and baby it, like you said. But definitely a process with my dialing for sure.
So I'm going to tell you guys something that I learned a long time ago about database. It's not their job to remember you. It's your job to remind them. Mm-hmm. I think we forget that all the time.
They're not worried about whether you're out of money. They could care less.
They don't care. Your job is to stay in front of them. Their job is not to come tap you on the shoulder when they're ready.
Even if they're family and friends, they're not
family and friends too.
They're going to be the last ones to call you because they don't want to make things awkward.
Yep.
So, you have to follow up with them and be of service and show them you're of service. But to your point, Destiny, one of the first things that I learned, so I went for a couple of years without a coach, but I did have a mentor for my first year, which I highly recommend. Everyone who doesn't have a mentor, you need a mentor, get one. That's number one. But
I had a coach for day one, 20-some years
right away. I had the mentor, which is why, I say I didn't have a coach. Call a mentor, a coach, whatever. You need to have someone, right? Don't try to do it on your own. But the first thing I learned when I got a coach was manage your database. If you have 10 people in your database, you ABC them. And remember I talked about the fire hot, the temperature, ABC, and the definition of ABC changes over time. But when I first started, there's A plus is ABC. A pluses are people who, if they're going to buy or sell, you're 100% certain they're going to use you. And that's your spouse and your mom and dad to begin with. Okay. Because not everybody's going to, your grandma. But your A pluses are the people 100% going to use you, and the A's are likely, and then on down the line. Now my ABCs or A pluses are people who have bought or sold with me at least 3 times. A's are 2 times, and B's are once. So they're just past clients, and C's are everybody else. But you have to ABC your database so that you spend the most time on the people who are most.
How often are you getting into that database?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day, because.
Well, wait a minute. Does that mean you start at A and then go to Z, or do you start at 1 and go to 5 million, or what does that look like?
You're touching your A pluses at least once a month.
Okay.
And your A's once a month, your B's every other month, and your C's every third month. So whether it's social media, at least, okay, face-to-face or voice-to-voice.
Let me ask something, Julie. Maybe next month, should we do a Wednesday workshop on that?
Yes.
Sure. We can do that.
The enthusiasm is crazy. Hey, Destiny, do you, how are you touching your database?
I touch my database. I do.
Oh, shucks, we lost her.
Oh, we lost her. And she's gone.
She
was in her car. She pulled over. Traffic was bad. All right, Jules, you and me then. Let me ask you something, Julie. Is it fast business, this database thing? I mean, can be, but is it?
Here's the great thing about a database. If you stay in touch with your database, the longer you're in the business, when people are thinking about buying or selling, they're going to the next agent that gets in front of them. So if you're not in front of them,
stay with me on this.
If you're not in front of them, they're going to go to whoever they meet at the next open house, right?
Yes.
So if you're not in front of them, you lose them. So all you need to do is provide value to them in terms of, here's what I do for a living, and here's why you can trust me. And then the other part is here's what's happening in my life. That's the social media part, because people care about that more than they care about everything else. Here she is.
She's
We're talking
back.
about your database and how you manage your database, Destiny.
I've started labeling it with a DT, D2. I think that's what you call it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I've started tagging each contact with. It's rigorous, it's work, but that way I know who I need to focus on each week.
Define DT, D2, D. What does that mean?
My understanding of it is, you know, you may have a last name with an A and then a last name that starts with a W, and you're going to call all those people in your database that have those first letters of the alphabet in their last names, and those are the people you're touching, so that eventually throughout the year you're touching everybody in your database. It's just a system.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say for that system, that's what you do the first time you go through your database, right? So everyone who's new, that's how you get through your database the first time, and you have a script that you follow so that you make sure that you cover everything, that you want to make sure that they understand that you are a realtor and that you want to take care of them, and that you're a motivated gunner and you're going to get after it.
Right.
That's the first time you talk to them. But at that time, you're going to put them into two categories. You're going to either ABC them. They're going to be one of A plus ABC, or D is for delete. They have their real estate license, or there's no way on this planet they're ever going to use you. They're out, right? Don't keep them in there. Then there's the fire, hot, warm. How soon are they likely to buy? So are they going to use you, and how quickly? So the first conversation when you're doing the from A to Z is how soon, how likely will they use you, and how soon. So you've got to categorize them. So then you set up your database. Shucks, we lost her. Then you set up your database for your frequency of contact. That's why, like what I talked about on the open house workshop, you put people into a pipeline when they come into an open house. You know, remember I said people who come to an open house, they're 100% going to buy or sell in the next year. That's your mindset, period. They're going to, otherwise they're not there. Everyone's going to buy or sell sooner or later, whether it's once or when they die or they're renters, right? So sooner or later, they're going to buy or sell once. So how soon is it going to be? If they're coming to an open house, it's sooner rather than later. And that's why you decide, are they a fire, hot, warm? And you follow up with them with a higher intensity more frequently if they're a fire versus a hot versus a warm. But you follow up with all of them with, I'm a realtor and this is the area I service.
Steady Eddie, get a process and do it. Okay, so real quick, Jules, we'll start to wrap this up a little bit. There is fast business out there, generally speaking, would be an expired and a referral. Somebody, right? You're not
sale by owner. Referral is number one. Referral is number one.
100%. 100%. They're quick. These are people that are ready, willing, and able to work with you. Expires and by owners are people that want to sell. Go get them. All right. But most of your time needs to be spent on building your database, having so try new things, go for the fast things, get into your database on a regular, if it's D2, D3, whatever Ds you got, a lot of them for me in high school. But whatever, stay on it. And just become a machine with that database, because what happens is it's slow at first, but if you're maintaining that database, it becomes steady, rock solid all the time, reliable. What you don't want to do is be all over it for 1 quarter and then forget about them for the next year and a half. That's brutal. Always be in there and maintain that machine.
And here's the thing. We've talked about people getting paralyzed because they're perfectionists. Forget about it. Just start, get after it, set a goal. I'm going to make 20 calls today. And you just start, anywhere. The more systemized you are, the easier it is to get through everything, in an organized manner, and to get everyone into the ABC category.
Just get in a routine,
category. But just start, make 20 calls, and then the next day, each time, refine your system. But don't say, I have to have it all perfect before I start. Start today and work on refining it as you go.
Perfect is an elusive situation. Hey, real quick, Thursday in 2 days, Andrew Paul's here. So here's my thing. he's a loan person. He's a money guy, right? He helps people get financing.
Any kind of way that you need to get money, he's going to help you. But he's a national foremost expert on VA.
He's so good with VA. That's his passion. VA doesn't have to be VA, but that's his passion. But here's what I want to talk to. If you know somebody in the military or connected to the military, or if they're just a human, people just don't buy enough properties. They don't build their wealth. One, you should own a house. For Pete's sake, own your house. That's forced savings. If you're making a mortgage payment, that's forced savings. And somewhere down the road, you're going to have this massive asset. Yes. Two, if you can lever that house into a second investment property, that's wealth building where somebody else is going to pay down the value or the mortgage on that house and build up your wealth. So now you're saving yourself through your own mortgage. You're leveraging that house and putting another property in play and having somebody else do it. And the VA is a wonderful opportunity for anybody who's ever been in the military to lever cheap, available money.
Zero
and that's
down.
what Andrew's going to talk about.
Zero down. And it's not active military only right now. It's everybody who's ever been in the military with an honorable discharge at the DD-214.
I want to ask him about what if my grandparents were in there? Could they get a loan? I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Right.
And
if they live in it,
but they can.
Right.
Yes.
And how can they lever that into getting a place that they can put me and my grandchild or whatever or into some sort? I'll guarantee you there are a million ways that folks are not thinking about. And what we're going to ask Andrew, I'm really curious to hear. I want him to tell us, and he will, about different ways different people are leveraging that. So if you're not taking advantage of that, tune in. It is so good.
Zero down to own an appreciating asset.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Down.
To build your future is amazing. So yeah, tune in on Thursday morning for that. He is a nationally renowned speaker on this kind of stuff. So that's going to be exciting.
One thing that we didn't mention, the reason why he's so passionate about VA and helping vets is he is a vet himself. He's a Navy SEAL that spent time in Ramadi.
Yep. He's what is referred to as a badass, right?
He is.
I'm just an ass.
You're
sometimes I'm bad, but they're never together.
Yeah, they're not connected.
All right, let's go to work. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.